Ready to go then? Sick. So guys, we've been talking about this a while, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. It's been a long time coming, I think.
I'm excited. So this is obviously my podcast, but it's your studio, Jack.
Yep.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about what the setup is here, what
we're
we've
at
got going on.
we're at Motorhouse Recording Studio. It's a business I set up about 2 years ago with my best mate. And yeah, it's a fully functioning recording studio.
Yeah, I love it. I've inquired some help off you to set up my own, and this is why I'm doing this podcast.
Yep.
But you guys are on my coaching program, Limitless Training, my Elite 365 coaching program. We've said before, it's all about life expansion, teaching people how to just live life on their terms, live by their values, overcome adversity, and we are all about that. And just off working with you guys and your stories, I thought it'll be a class idea to get you in a studio. Obviously, it happened to be your studio, but we'll all sit and talk about our journeys, really, so we can get into kind of your bit here, your values, your studio, your business, and how you've brought that around. But we'll start with kind of why we are sitting here, really, and that's just to talk, have a quality conversation about life, really.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Amazing. So obviously you guys work with me inside my coaching program, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole point of that is life expansion. Obviously, big part of it's diet, training, improving your mental health, but really it's about just becoming the best version of yourself, the version of yourself that you want to become. So I'll ask both of you this question individually, but I'll start with you, Jack. Before you started this transition, it was like September time, wasn't it?
Yeah,
last year.
Well, the second time where I properly took it seriously was like September last year.
Yeah. So where were you at then? What was the turning point for you where you were like, right, I've got to turn this around?
I was a 20 stone loser, basically.
Yeah.
Sitting in my bedroom drinking Stella.
Yeah. Mate, it takes a lot of courage to say that. It does.
But I sort of knew it for a long time because, like, last year I was a pub owner.
Yeah.
I had the pub, and I didn't want to admit it, but just the alcohol sort of
100%.
took over. Basically, I was living above a pub. I drank 7 nights a week. I drank heavily 5 nights a week. The other 2 nights was trying to have a drink to sort me hangover out.
Yeah.
I wasn't taking any care of myself. I didn't care what I was putting in my body. I didn't even think about it. I actually didn't know I was 20 stone. I still convinced myself I was 16 stone. Just that thing that your mind does. It was like, I'm fine.
So were you avoiding the scale and everything?
Oh yeah, I hadn't been on the scales for like... The last time I was on the scales was the first time I joined your program in 2017, I think.
Or it would have been 2018.
2018, yeah.
Yeah, 18.
I think that was the last time I weighed myself, because I'd done the 8-week program with you. I lost a bunch of weight and thought, oh well, class.
Yeah.
I just thought I wasn't going to put that weight back on. Yeah. Before I knew it, I came back to you like 2 years later. I'd put like 4 stone on, and I was literally a loser, like. Yeah.
Well, I say it takes a lot of courage to say that, but you've just stumbled across a good point there. Like my story, but in general, is I was a PT. I helped people lose weight. Even back then, I wasn't thinking about the long-term damage of that.
Yeah.
So I've totally transitioned my business from, yes, helping people lose weight, but it has to be lifestyle, because like I say, I had people like you who they drop a bunch of weight and they say, thanks Sam, it's been an amazing journey, and I think, oh great, I've helped them out, I'm doing well, and then the same people are coming back still struggling. I was like, right, there's more going on here under the surface. I need to change what I'm doing, because I feel like a bit like a fraud, really, just helping people lose weight. But then the same people are coming back 2 years later, more miserable, more overweight, wanting to do it all again. Something's got to change here. So obviously you realise yourself it was a complete lifestyle change that you needed. So September, I remember I had the first phone call. I could tell when you were on that phone, you were ready. The things you were saying, it was the tonality, the way you were coming across. You were like, I need to sort it out. I'm ready. And I remember saying to you, like, in 12-month time, we can achieve this. And right now we're like, what, 50 pounds down? Yeah.
Or just over 50 pounds now.
Exactly. And all you've changed really is just some basic targets that you can do.
Definitely.
And you just become so consistent at them. Yeah. So what have you done differently since you were that person drinking Stella every day, not looking after your body, 20 stone? What have you done differently to become where you are now?
I think for me at the start, like, simply it was just the fundamentals that you give us of these are your calories that you need to hit.
Yeah.
And obviously we're in a lockdown, and I remember you having the conversation. It was saying, if you don't like working out in the house, don't do it.
Don't do it.
So I was literally, and the morning routine thing for me, I just made sure that if I started my day at 5:30, went out and got 10,000 steps, the rest of the day I was going to hit my calories. I'd already like won that morning. So for me, it was like the fundamentals that you give us at the start of like getting up, having me morning routine, journaling, getting out on a walk, getting me 10,000 steps in and done. The rest of the day I didn't have to worry about it. And
Yeah.
I was gonna eat me calories because it's pointless getting up at 6:30 in the morning, going on a walk, and then having a McDonald's really in it.
I
Yeah.
think it's the foundations, you know. If you can't build a strong building without the strong foundations to support it. So like you say, when you've got people joining your program and then losing a lot of weight but then falling off track because them foundations are not built for them, in a sense, now you're giving them the lifestyle change to which they can then build that foundation and then progress further with them, you know.
Yeah.
So it gives them a good starting block.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, Jack noticed the change in my coaching program, but I had to do it because I realized, like, right, I'm worth more than that, and I
Yeah.
don't mean that in an egotistical, braggy way. But I knew I could help people more than just losing weight. And I thought, right, there's something I need to change. And obviously, it was a fear of changing because I was like, oh my god, what happens if nobody wants to do this life expansion stuff? Nobody cares. I still get it now. People sign up. I mean, we're talking about a conversation the other week. I'll not say who it is. Might listen to it.
Yeah.
But remember how I said that? I had a bit of a back and forward with someone who was like, oh, I don't care about that stuff. I just want to lose weight. And I was like, well, the reason you can't lose weight is because you need work on your mindset. But some people aren't willing to do that. Like you said, you are in denial about your bad habits. Some people are in a position where like, no, I just want to lose weight, and they're not asking themselves why. Like, why am I in this position in the first place? So I really had to take a back seat and say, right, I'm willing to disassociate myself from quick weight loss or go to Sam for weight loss, join his PT. I removed all that from my life and just started this new program, which is focusing on energy. It's focusing on looking at your bad habits, what you're running away from mentally, physically, emotionally, and like I say, building the foundations. And you know, you guys, both of you are success stories from that, really. So yeah, we can kind of touch your point as well, Ben. Like, where were you before you started this life expansion stuff?
I guess I was
Because yours is a little bit different to Jack.
Yeah,
It's similar,
it's
very
similar.
similar, but a little bit different.
So I was at a part of my life where, you know, I was kind of a bit confused, a bit lost, I guess.
Yeah.
I was, you know, working away, and the job I do work away quite a lot, 4 months. So then I felt like when I came home, I deserved a break, you know, and I would give myself like, oh, well, it's fine. You don't have to eat healthy. You can go out, drink, do this, until I got to a point where it made us realize I had to accept it. I had to accept what I was doing and realize it and admit it to myself. This is not the way to live life. You know, you can't wake up every day being hungover. You can't, you know, put things off because you're low on energy, you're tired. And honestly, it was probably Jack as well, because Jack was started a few months before me. So then I was speaking with him when I was away and a bit down with obviously the coronavirus. And seeing Jack's progress, you know, it motivated us to think, well, if Jack can do it, which I knew the position he was before, you know, anyone can. And if you just put your mind to it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you accept, yes, that was who I was and that was what I was doing wrong, and accepting it and kind of owning it, you know? You don't want to push it away and deny it, because at the end of the day, that is what's going on. You can't lie to yourself. You have to accept, you know, I'm drinking too much, I'm not exercising, I'm not doing this, I'm not living by my values. And I guess that's where I was to where I am now. It's just like a different person, if I'm honest.
Yeah. That's the best part of my job. I get to see people join. Like I say, you Jack, you know, overweight, self-admittedly, not looking after your body, drinking too much, and you reach that point. I think you've got to reach the point of no return. You've got to reach rock bottom. Yeah, so I speak to a lot of people who are like, Sam, I'm struggling, I'm this, I'm that, and then they won't change anything they're doing. And part of me, I don't tell them this because I don't want to scare them, but a part of me is saying they haven't reached rock bottom yet. They've still got a little bit to go.
When I hear people talk about rock bottom, I did hit my rock bottom, but it wasn't this like dramatic thing of what everyone says.
It's just becoming self-aware. But that's rock bottom.
But my rock bottom was like, it was actually the day after, because I did start with you in September, but not that I didn't take it seriously, but I didn't start the elite thing until New Year's Day. New Year's Day, and it was New Year's Day lying in bed, and like I remember having like me last McDonald's lying in bed with a can, thinking, "The fuck am I doing here?" Like, and I knew at that point that this year was going to be completely different for me.
Yeah,
I knew that I wasn't going to drink, and I set that target of like, for me who drank every day for 5 years to go to drinking not once in 3 months, like that was a big thing for me. But that was all stemmed from that rock bottom thing of like, I knew that the next day I was going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I was going to write in my journal, and I was on that walk, and like, and that was me for the next however long it's going to take. Really.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I hate to say it like this, like fate and all this stuff, but for me, it was like I instinctively knew, my intuition knew the guys I was working with, they needed more from me.
Yeah.
So this come at the point where, yeah, you are losing weight and doing well, but you are still drinking, you are still struggling,
Yep.
you are still relying on that. And I think self-admittedly, you'll accept for you, the food only became an issue when you were hungover. Like for you, how easy was it to diet and stick to your calories and lose loads of weight
completely.
when you cut the drink out? I think a lot of people, they want to lose weight so much, and this, in my experience, they want to lose weight so much, they know what they need to do, they just haven't got the energy for it. They're stressed from work, they're stressed within their relationship, they don't like their body, and they're turning to quick fixes like drink and drugs and gambling and other things to make them feel better in the temporary. But we know things that give you an instant quick fix, what goes up must come down.
Oh,
So there's always a long-term discomfort associated with that, and then they end up in this vicious cycle of using food to fill the gap, using drink to fill the gap. So once you removed the thing that was causing the emotional roller coaster, that was stopping your energy from being high, you removed that, you stopped drinking, how much easier was it to follow your diet? It was so easy.
I remember early on, I was having the conversations with you about like anxiety and stuff, and obviously now I understand that that's all stemmed from values and stuff. But at first, just me anxiety levels just off cutting out the simple things of I convinced myself that this anxiety wasn't anything that I was doing wrong.
Yeah.
I was just an anxious person. Like someone had given me anxiety, but
A lot of people
it
struggle
wasn't.
with that.
It was I was giving myself anxiety, and like what I've learned since, it was literally my body telling us there's something wrong here. Like sort this out.
Same for me. You know, I've been very open with my, I hate to say mental health, because really what does mental health mean? That's like saying health.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just our emotional well-being. That's a much better term in my opinion, because what does even mental health mean? So I like to say my emotional well-being was not good at that time. I was struggling with my emotional well-being. And I used to say that, like, why am I getting anxiety? There must be something wrong, this and that. Overthinking, analysing everything, kind of blaming the universe and other people. Why me? I don't deserve to feel like this. When in reality, I was abusing drugs at the time. I was comparing myself to other people. You know, I was living this life and letting my ego come to the surface because I wanted to impress people. You know, I wanted to be liked. I wanted to be validated. And that's why I was getting anxiety. It was literally a rush of emotions, feedback to remind us you're doing something wrong. I think a lot of people are creating anxiety, you know, same like what you said, oh, I'm just an anxious person, and justifying why they can't change their life. But that's the exact thing that's giving you anxiety. And like you said, once you stopped drinking and you had higher amounts of energy, you realise, actually, I'm not an anxious person anymore.
No.
Because anxiety is essentially just a rush of emotion to get you back into balance. So if you're tired and drained all the time, which you will be if you're drinking and eating rubbish, that anxiety could literally be your brain's way, or the universe connecting with you and trying to remind you, you need some energy, here you go, because you're drained all the time. But we perceive it as something's gone wrong, and then we'll create a lot of anxiety. We just don't understand our energy, really, you know. So you realise once you cut the drink out, you weren't getting this energy roller coaster anymore. Your energy was more stable, which means your emotions were. We know emotions, energy, emotion. So if your energy was all over the place, that's why your emotional well-being was up and down. You were anxious and you were low, then you were anxious and you're low. I think so many people are in that roller coaster of emotions where they're battling anxiety and depression, where they're going to high energy, negative, feeling anxious, overwhelmed, panicked, you know, even having panic attacks like what I was, to depressed, down, miserable, where you can't even get out of bed. You've got no energy whatsoever. Because you've got energy when you're anxious, you know you do. You've got, you know, you've got that fear. You've got
Quite a
that
high energy, actually.
It is.
Isn't
It's very
Because
high
your-
energy.
Your heart rate starts to go, and
It's I read somewhere. I'm not sure whether you told us, Sam, actually, but energy is essentially the same feeling as excitement.
Yeah.
It's that same.
Anxiety is the same feeling as
Anxiety.
excitement. Yeah.
Anxiety is that same
Yeah.
feeling of excitement. It's the
Yeah.
same.
your heart rate goes up. You start to maybe sweat a little
I
bit.
said
you
that
know.
last night on my
Yeah.
training. I says, I love roller coasters, right? That's one of the things I love. One of my main values is traveling, going to theme parks. I fucking love it. You know, so I was saying last night on one of my trainings, I was like, you're on top of a roller coaster in the front row. You're about to go over the jump. My heart is beating a little bit fast.
Yeah.
I've got butterflies inside my stomach. Physiologically, that feels the same as the borderline of a panic attack.
Yeah, well, you're excited, I guess, to get involved.
Yeah.
But you're anxious about what it's going to feel like.
Yeah, it's
You
like
know,
the
so
fear
it's
of the unknown.
Exactly, yeah.
Anxiety is a future-based emotion.
Yeah.
But don't feel anxious in the present. When you're fully present, doing something, you're focused on something, you can't feel anxious.
But I think that's where it's changed a lot. And what you've taught us is, you know, you get anxious about, say me, you're anxious because you're overweight or you're doing things, but you lose that weight and the anxiety's still there. So that is, you know, people get this thing of, oh, I'm going to lose some weight and then I'm going to be better. But if you're living outside of your values and not actually focusing on what do I want, you're still going to feel that anxiety.
Yeah.
You're still going to be a little bit anxious because losing a few pounds, you might feel better, but You know, if you're still going out on the weekend and
There's something else wrong somewhere.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be the first to hold my hands up and say, well, even the NHS talk about this as far as mental health. One of the fastest ways to help anxiety and depression is to exercise and eat healthy.
Yeah.
Bottom line is your body's the vehicle that transports you through life. If you're not looking after your body, you're going to get some resistance. You're going to get some spluttering of the engine, you know, some conking out, some breaking down. You're going to have to do some maintenance on it. So, you know, anyone who's struggling with their emotional well-being, the first go-to that you've got to do is, how can I drink more water? How can I get more sleep? And how can I eat better? And how can I move around more? Let your body have an actual purpose. Fuel it for that purpose, and it'll help. But like you said, you can lose a bunch of weight and you can still be anxious.
I was going to say, I've been in shape before, you know, in good shape.
At my most anxious, Ben, I was 6% body fat with veins in my arse cheeks. I was shredded. I was a bodybuilder, but I was at my lowest mentally. So I'm not going to sit here, even as an ex-PT and someone who helps people lose weight, I'm not going to sit here and say weight loss is the answer to everything. But I'm saying if you look after your body better, it can help. But you stumbled across it before. It's living outside your values. That's what's causing people to have mental health issues, to have anxiety problems, depression problems. They're not living life on their terms. They're doing things they don't want to do. You know, so that brings what on perfectly into this value stuff. So I can again ask you this individually: what do you value the most in your life? What's the top 3 things that you value the most?
I think I value, you know, not exactly being successful but having something as a driven goal, you know, like having a license or education to drive towards something, you know, not as a thing of to look at me, look what I've got, but more of a self goal, you know, I've achieved the highest level I can in my profession. Yeah. I think I obviously value exercise. I didn't exercise for a long time with the whole lockdown and stuff, and since I've been back and the gyms have opened, and even I look at exercise different since being on your program. Is, you know, a lot of people look at exercise as going to the gym and lifting 100 kilogram bench press, and it's a chore and an hour in the gym. Exercise is walking to the shop. It's not getting in your car to go to Asda. It's walking to the shop, walking to see your friend, and getting them steps in, which anyone can do. You know, if you hate exercise, why force yourself to do it? Yeah, go for a walk. And like you see, I think I value just helping people. You know, since I've been home, I think before, like I say, drinking a lot, energy was low. Someone asked us to, do you want to come and do this? Do you want to help us do this? Instantly, it would be a no, because I didn't have the energy. I couldn't be bothered. I couldn't be arsed.
Which then you'd feel bad because you're living outside your values, and that's causing guilt and anxiety. I would get
anxiety about, have I let them down? What they're going to think about is like, I'm a shit friend. Now if someone calls us, what do you need? I'll come and help you. You know, Jack's floor, straight away, do you know what I mean? And that's what I valued. But before, I didn't have the energy to do that. So I'll put it off, and then it would make us feel even worse. So I think they're my 3 main values,
Yeah, you mentioned something about like that feeling like a success. I mean, that's probably my highest value. Like, I'm going to hold my hands up, like coaching people. Yeah, that's my highest value. Number 2 would be building my business and, you know, tying that in with my own like personal success, finance, mental success. You know, my life has been an achiever. Like, I want to progress.
The best version of yourself. So anything you put yourself into, you know, like you're coaching, you want to give it your best. You want to give your best value. You don't want to just give it 50% and give every like a half effort. What's the point? You know what I mean? If you're going to do something.
I know, but that's what I say about values, right? It should be something that you instinctively want to do. Like, it doesn't matter how bad my day's been, how shit I feel. If I've got coaching calls booked in, or I've got some videos to do for my clients, or even podcasts like this, it doesn't matter how bad I feel. I value it. It creates energy. So, you know, people need to understand things that you value has got to be things that give you energy, not take it away. And I think so many people, they get confused between values and social idealisms. I value this, I value that. Do you really? Because you wouldn't be unhappy with your life if you valued it. So whether you are conscious of it or unconscious of it, we all prioritize and live by a set of values. Whether those are intrinsically our values is a different matter. So a lot of people, like you say, they say, I value success, I value achieving, but they're in a job they hate. So there might be value in what the job gives them, money. Like you say, how many, I mean, you even said it before, Ben, I think you said you've done jobs you hated just for the fact that it paid you well.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked away a long time, and doing it, hate it because, I'm going to have this money, you know, this is what's going to make me happy. But if you have to motivate yourself to do something, then you probably don't really value it that much. If you need to big yourself up, like, I need to do, like, you procrastinate and you need to motivate yourself to do a task, then you probably don't value it that much, because if you valued it, it would come second nature, and you would do it unwillingly for free, basically. Because
anything you have to be motivated for, you don't value.
Exactly.
You might value a little bit. Like, I love lifting weights, but I was talking to my pal Dan Forden last night, who I go with.
Shout out, Dan.
Shout out to Dan. He's famous now. Who I go to SPG with. Do a bit of kickboxing and stuff. Like, I'm valuing that more now than weights, but I still like being in shape.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, I'm not motivated to go and do a chest workout, mate. I'm not. However, what exercises can we do that's linked to doing this MMA stuff?
Yeah.
I was like, explosive power. We'll do some overhead press. We'll do some trap bar deadlifts. We'll do some, bench lockouts, where instead of doing a bench press, coming down, touching your chest, you stop the rack just before, so you actually do a dead stop press. So powerlifters do it to work out on the lockout power. So we'll set the bar where it actually stops. So you bring it down slowly, stop it from the rack, explode up. So we're just breaking down the bench press movement to work on that explosive power, which would be great if you are, grappling in MMA or whatever, and you need to get someone off. Or explosive punching power. So I linked in lifting weights because I want to keep my muscle mass and be in shape with what I value more now.
I think we were talking about before, where throughout your life, the values aren't going to stay the same throughout
Yeah,
life.
they're
They can
gonna
change. So
They're gonna
you're at
change.
a different part of your life. You value one part of your life. You might value getting fit because that's what you want to do because you're planning on running a marathon. One part of your life you might value, getting a promotion because that's where you are, or getting a house. So your values can kind of change for where you are at life. But I think intrinsically your foundational values will always stay true because that's your personality and that's who you are,
Yeah,
I think for someone who's out of shape, and when I was out of shape, like I would say that I valued one of my only values then was my social life and going out and eating with my friends.
Why do you think that was a value? Because you weren't fulfilling yourself?
Yeah, and I know that now that isn't a value at all to me, but at the time it's sort of your head justifying the fact that this is a value to me. Like, rather than thinking this is making me out of shape and really unhappy, I justified, like, I really enjoy going out for food with my friends, and I really enjoy getting drunk.
That was the thing that was making you better. That was the instant gratification.
So that my head was with the instant gratification of that was then one of my values. So
Like I say, subconsciously you are valuing that, you didn't even realise.
Yeah.
But valuing something like drink, going out on the sesh, drugs even, can be anything, any kind of instant gratification. If you value that, what goes up must come down. There's going to be a consequence.
Yeah.
And the consequence is, if you are valuing going out, drinking all the time and doing this, doing that, you can't be working on your financial freedom. You can't be working on your overall mission. You can't be working on your mental health because you're valuing something else.
Yeah.
So like I say, if people unknowingly or knowingly, they are living by their values, it's just whether that value is working for them or not. Yeah, so that brings us on perfectly. So we'll kind of cover values, but we've talked about this personally myself. There's this sesh culture that is, we can't speak for females, although it does affect females as well. But from a male point of view, this sesh culture, leaving school at 16-year-old, it's like unlimited drink, unlimited drugs. Everyone's partying. Everyone's just going out looking for girls, casual sex, casual nights out. Not real friendships, just associates who you get wrecked with. And I got into that trap, and I know you guys did. And this is having a huge impact on mental health. There's a reason
100%.
the suicide rate is so high in males. Yeah. And I'm going to hold my hands up. People can call us out, say I'm wrong. This sesh culture is hugely responsible for that, because we've got a bunch of males who that don't know what their values are. Their only value is living for the weekend. Like, they generally cannot see their vision of their life past Friday night. It's like, go to a job, do what you need to do to get paid, do anything at all costs to get paid. Like what we've said before, like you didn't value the job, but you valued the money. So you do anything to get the money, and then it's just, right, fuck it, spend what I've got just to survive.
I think it's like what you say. It's basically physics, isn't it? Every reaction has an opposite reaction. So every up has a down. If you're on a sesh all weekend, you're feeling good, you're feeling confident, you're going to hit a fucking wall
Monday morning.
and you're going to crash hard, and you wonder why, you're feeling shit Monday morning, thinking, I can't be asked to do this, don't want to get out of bed. But then you've been on the drink for 3 days, or you've been on a session, sitting there with people you don't even like, and you're scared to get up and be the first one to go home because... And I think it's definitely a massive thing which is happening, and, I'm not going to be a hypocrite because I've done it for years.
Yeah, me too.
And I probably enjoyed it at the time. Like you say, I probably
me too.
valued it,
Yeah, me too.
But I'm saying at this point in my life, that is something, like I say, I don't value anymore.
You realise the consequence.
Or I've got bigger priorities, or something that is taking too much of my time to focus on that.
You've got to replace it. You know what it is? The biggest thing that affected me when I stopped, because my worst emotional well-being / mental health, however you want to call it, when I was really struggling with panic attacks, depression, I wasn't actually going out on the sesh anymore. I hadn't drank in about a year. I wasn't drinking. Yeah, but I didn't replace. That was the instant gratification to help us get through.
Yeah.
Now I got rid of it. And I think this is why so many people can't get off drink, can't get off drugs, because they know they should, and when they try, they don't replace it. And that was the only thing that was getting them through.
It's the fear of missing out as well.
It was an escape. So that was getting them through temporarily. That next line, that next drink, it was just constantly delaying the come down, if that makes sense.
What's going to happen, and it's going to hit even harder.
Yeah, whereas when I think, right, I'm going to cut that out, I can't do this anymore, I don't want to take drugs, I want to do this bodybuilding show. And for a while I replaced it with that. I was motivated, but when that ran out, I was like, shit, I'm still unhappy. And I realised that, shit, I used the drink and the drugs and the chasing women and the validation from your mates and all that lad culture and getting involved in, you know, scrapes and just having a bit of banter, and that was an escape from the fact I wasn't happy. I was an unhappy man.
I think essentially it's you're building a habit, basically. If you're going out every weekend, you're going to get used to your Friday night is going out.
Yeah.
So that in turn turns to a habit, which a habit can be smoking. If you're trying to quit smoking, you need to do something else with your hands. Like, I've quit smoking.
Gotta replace it. Yeah.
You're smoking, and the first thing you do in the morning is have a cigarette. You need to replace that with, right, in the morning I'm not going to have a cigarette, I'm going to write in my journal.
Yeah.
And replacing that makes it much easier to remove the habit.
Yeah.
So if you just stop going out completely, you're going to sit in the house twiddling your thumbs on a Friday night thinking, oh, what's all my mates doing? Where are I'll fancy a pint. So like you say,
what me and Ben do, like, one of the biggest things that's helped us probably keep off the drink, though, and like our social life, is going to Asda and getting some non-alcoholic beers. And like,
it's replacing it, isn't it?
I was drinking them a while ago. They were all right.
Yeah.
They were okay.
It's like, after you've had two, you're not even bothered about having a beer anymore. But it is that habit thing in your head of sitting.
2 shandies and I'm in fucking bed. Piss me.
Exactly. It's a great point there. We've got to replace it. And it's the same. Obviously, I specialise in helping people overcome emotional eating. And obviously, the reason we're talking about this lifestyle stuff is because I've said before, people are using food to fill an emotional void, just like people are using alcohol to fill an emotional void, drugs to fill an emotional void, spending money on shit they don't need to fill an emotional void. The strategy about why people are unhappy with their life, regardless of what habit they've got, it's all the same. It's all coming from an emotional void because they're not living by their values. And like I said to people who I work with, emotional eaters, you can't just not eat junk food anymore. You can't just say, I'm not going to have that, I'm not going to have it. You've got to replace it. So that might be getting, it might be strategically placing foods that you are craving within your calorie intake at specific times when you normally eat. It's diverting your attention instead of eating, because most people just eat because they're bored. Like you say, it becomes a habit. If you're used to smoking, you've got to replace it, otherwise you'll smoke. If these people who I work with are used to going to work all day, they probably don't like the job, which is why they're emotionally eating when they come in. They're stressed, they're tired, they're overwhelmed. They normally go in the kitchen, eat some sweets, get a takeaway. You can't just say, right, Sam, I'm working with you now, I'm just not going to eat anymore. But your life's exactly the same. So you're still going to come home, you're still going to be stressed from work. And if you don't have a habit that's been ingrained, it's subconscious, it's running away like on a hard drive disk, it's running for you. Yeah, you'll not even be conscious of it. You'll instinctively go to reach for food. And if you can't replace it with something that's going to give you a feeling, you'll continue to eat. So this is why I say to people who struggle with emotional eating and struggling to stop going out, drinking, taking drugs, spending money, what are you going to replace this habit with? Otherwise, you'll not stop.
You need someone else to consume your time, basically, because that time is still going to be there. That 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hour session, you're still going to have that time. So how are you going to fill that time to not only take your mind off that habit you're trying to replace, but also maybe focus on yourself and improve yourself with them 5 hours? Because you'll realize how much time you've actually got. If you're not going on a session from Friday to Sunday, you've got a lot of time to think.
Yeah.
And if you're not putting your mind to good use or doing something with that time, you're going to overthink, you're going to, get anxiety, you're going to put things in your head that essentially you're doing it yourself because you just need to fill the time.
Yeah.
And like you say, your mind is there to create kind of problems and do things to you. It's going to make you feel shit. So you need to, like you say, replace it and fill that time.
Yeah, I always say this, if you are not creating inspiring challenges for yourself, like, right, this is something I need to focus on, I need to do A, B, and C to get D, right, I'm going to work on it. If you're not setting your life up like that problems that you want to work on, like you're working with your business, you're getting your mortgage, doing these exams that you're doing, me trying to build my business and help my clients. I'm a high-level problem solver. My creative streak that was creating a lot of anxiety that wasn't being used before is now being used on helping people. So I'm getting my creativity out there. I'm relaxed, I'm chilled, but if you're not doing something that fills your time, that you value, you'll look around and you'll just go, what the fuck's wrong with my life? You'll create problems. If you're not creating inspiring challenges that force you to act and be what you want to be, and if you're not doing anything, that's when you look for problems.
I was
Your
gonna
brain
say.
will look for problems. Oh, I'm not lean enough. Oh, I'm not sexy enough. Oh, this person doesn't like us back. Why have they got more money than me? You'll literally tell yourself these problems,
Yeah.
and that's what drives you to drink. So this is a great question, right? But obviously, as men, young men, all in my 20s, why do you think there's such a big sesh culture, in especially where we live, Northeast England?
I
Why?
just think there's like, I'd honestly think, because it's still hard now to think of stuff, there's like, really, when you ask your mates what to do, there's nothing else to do. Like
Yeah.
the first thing that happens, if you ask your mates to do something, you're not asking them to go and do anything else other than go for a pint. It's
Is it really nothing to do? Because I think
no,
there
but
is.
now that I'm on, there is
Yeah.
something to do, but you've just
At the
got to,
time, you don't think there is.
you've got to put a
Yeah.
bit of effort into going
Yeah.
to do it. Like me and Ben have took up like loads of habits, like just going to the driving range,
You just got to
Game of
try,
basic.
Game
try
of-
stuff you've never done before. You might fucking like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
like go karting. It's
No.
just, but
It's
the
effort, isn't it? You've
the
got to
amount
put
of
that.
times that you put in a group message with all the
Yeah,
lads,
yeah.
oh, should we go and do this?
Do you know why? Because
The-
anyone can go to in 5 minutes. How many times have you had a last minute night out and it's ended up being a full weekend sesh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where you've spent absolutely loads of money on whatever, and you think, well, that only happened the last minute. If you had something to do to plan towards, you wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
It's so easy to plan a sesh because you say, yeah, I don't want to go to the pub. Then from there, it's like, right, let's get the dealer's number on the phone. Let's get more shots. Let's go back to such and such's house. Before you know it, you're 2 days deep, and you're like, what the fuck? How did this happen? Because it's easy, it's like instant, it's quick. You can plan it and get what you need from it fast. Whereas, like you say, planning to go karting, going to the driving range, it's effort. You've got to organise a time. You've got to mentally get yourself up for it, and it's like it's difficult.
But like, I think it's people think it's effort, but like,
Yeah,
if you want to better yourself, you've got to put some effort in.
yeah,
Like if you've got to do this, and it's all down to planning, which you've said is a big thing. So the whole reason why I think the sesh culture thing happens is because it's the planning thing. No one can be asked to plan anything else. So it's like, oh, we'll go to the pub. I've still done it since I've been on this elite thing. I've fell off track. I haven't done 4 months absolutely perfectly, and that's because I didn't plan. We ended up at the pub because what should we do? Me and Ben will go for a cheap meal. Before we knew it, we'd had 2 bottles. Then we were in the pub sitting.
Yeah.
The next morning, woke up feeling like absolute shit. Why? Had nothing else planned to do
yeah.
that weekend.
Boredom's the only negative emotion you feel in the present. Every other negative emotion, anxiety, future based. You're thinking about the future and you're worrying. Depression is normally either thinking about past traumas or comparing your now to versus where you want to be. Still future, past thinking, that kind of stuff. When you're in the present though and you get bored, that's the only negative emotion you feel in the present. And that will literally open the door for all these other negative emotions to come in. So you've basically got to stop yourself from being bored. I only realised that my anxiety, my panic attacks came on at night when I had nothing to do, and I would stop there and just go, fucking hell, I'm so behind. Fucking hell, what about this?
Yeah.
What about that? Oh my God. But when I was engaged during the day, I was fine. Boredom is such a killer. Boredom's a killer. People are just not creating enough excitement for themselves because we can say they're lazy, we can say they're uninspired. I mean, Tony Robbins, if you know who he is like the Mr. Personal Development guy, like the best, life coach on the market. He has been for like 40 years. He says there's no such thing as lazy people, just uninspired. People aren't lazy, they're just uninspired. So I think a lot of people that haven't found what the value yet, all comes back to that. They haven't found what the value, they haven't found what internally excites them, so they're getting bored. And more often than not, they're quickly filling that with things, and that's why.
And they haven't got a plan.
They haven't got a plan. They're not planning to feel good. They're not planning to be excited. They're winging it, really. Like, you're waking up and going, I hope I feel good today. Like, I used to wake up and say, I hope I don't have a panic attack tonight. What the fuck? You can't do that. You know what I mean? Because your intuition and the universe, if you like, will give you the feedback that what's going on. Like, the way you feel right now, it's never an accident. I don't mean it's your fault, so anyone who's struggling with anxiety, depression, I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm saying it's not an accident. That's the universe's way of channeling this energy through you to remind you of where you're at. Feedback. Is it going well? Is it not? If you're feeling some shit emotions you don't like, there's some kind of feedback that's saying, listen, you need to get back in line. You need to do something that's exciting. You need to stop being bored. You need to stop turning to quick fixes. You need to understand what is it that internally makes you feel connected, where you're just calm. I'm like so calm now. Like, there's not much that bothers us, because I've set my life up what I value. I've got a coaching program that's doing very well. I work with a bunch of people where I get help that allows me to live by my values. Yeah, I do things like this podcast, have quality conversations. It's all helping me live by my values, build my business, and kind of live my life's mission of just what I want to be and how I want my life to look. It's neutralized any negative emotions. Like you said right at the start of this podcast, you thought you were an anxious person. I thought I was. Now that's gone. I'm not an anxious person. How have I changed my identity? I changed what I valued.
I put myself in positions that gives us anxiety sometimes,
Yeah.
but I am not an anxious person.
Yeah. Again, anxiety is just a feedback.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you need to not review, but look back at what you're doing, because the feelings that you're having right now is down to the habits that you've built. So you need to look back and say, what are my habits? If that's going out every weekend, then that's probably a reason
It's
why
this
you could
instant
be
gratification thing,
exactly.
isn't it?
So if you're doing something on a weekly basis or daily basis, and you're feeling anxious or down, it possibly linked to the habits that you've built over a long period of time. That's why you're feeling like that.
Not possibly about it at all, Ben.
Exactly.
It's 100%
Exactly, yeah.
the reason. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I was reading something the other day. It was in Jeff Thompson's book. I don't know if you know who Jeff Thompson is.
I have listened to the podcast.
Yeah, he's sick. He's amazing. He's like the most articulate personal development guy I would say I've found. Like the information that he articulates, and he's just so clever. He's very religious, so I'm not necessarily saying I'm a religious person. I don't necessarily agree, but I certainly think there's a higher power, something, whether it's just an energy system in the universe. But he says like the closest. One of the things he talked about religion, what probably the closest I've related to a religion would be Buddhism. And I think what I seen was a passage from something he was talking about the past, the present, and the future. And I might not be wording this right, but basically said there's no such thing as the past, the present, and the future. There's only what you've done, what you are doing, and what you are owed. So your future, what you are owed, will be a combination of what you've done and what you are doing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. So people are like, oh, I'm in this position, but it's not my fault. It's this fault. It's that fault. I used to blame everything. I used to blame other personal trainers who were successful
For you not being
for me not being successful. Like, fuck off, Sam.
It's like the thing
if I had to go back in time,
Yeah.
I would give myself a little slap and say, fuck off. Yeah, stop being a victim. Own up to what you're not doing. You're only getting triggered by them because they're successful and you're not. They're doing what you want to do. So
Yeah.
why don't you change your thought process? Instead of blaming them, do something to change. You know, like I said, it was a combination. My future was going to be a combination of what have I done in the past, made loads of mistakes, fucked around, wasn't a very nice person, I'll hold my hands up and admit that, but it came from a place of insecurity. I didn't mean to be like that, but I made some mistakes, treated some people bad, did some bad things, and then in the present, I was doing fuck all about it. So that was my future. It was a combination of what I did and what I was doing that was given as what I was owed. So your future is what you are owed, and I related to that. I think that's a Buddhist teaching.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as past, present, future. Just what you've done, what you are doing, and what you are owed.
Well, you don't wake up overweight, do you?
No.
You wake up, you're overweight because of what, like you say, you're doing right now or what you've done.
Yeah.
So, like you say, you're owed to be overweight, or you're anxious, or because you've been drinking, you've done that. So I think that's...
But it's not your fault, and that's what you
Yeah.
convince yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's not your fault.
We justify that it's not our fault. And listen, there's some things that happen to people that, listen, it's not their fault. Like if someone's struggling with anxiety and depression because they're overweight, but the reason that they're overweight is they've had a health issue.
Yeah.
That was not your fault. We can't turn it back around on them and say, listen, you need to take responsibility. There's a difference between taking responsibility and saying it's your fault.
Yeah.
Because saying it's your fault is essentially taking the blame for things that you shouldn't be taking the blame on. Like, you cannot control a health issue. If you broke your leg, right, and you couldn't walk for a year, and then you are struggling with it, because listen, if I got rehabilitated now, I think I would be struggling with emotional eating, because I do like food. I really would be struggling with emotional eating again, because what could I do? I can't exercise. I can't do what I need to do. I would literally be looking for something to make myself feel better.
Yeah.
So a lot of people can get a health issue. They don't exercise. Before you know it, 5 years, they haven't really been doing what they wanted to do. They're like, shit, I'm 3-4 stone overweight. I work with a bunch of people who've had knee replacements, hip replacements, who've maybe got injured, who had a health condition, and all of a sudden, now they're massively overweight. Why? Something changed. It got them down, but they still acted in a way that caused them to eat more food. Like, you can't take responsibility for the illness or the injury. It's not your fault. Stop blaming yourself for it. However, the way you responded, I get it. I know it was hard, but that's what's caused you to become overweight. I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's my health condition. It's like, well, no, your health condition didn't cause you to stay in a calorie surplus. It didn't affect the way your body partitions calories and nutrients. You ate more than you moved.
Yeah.
Yes, it was harder for you, but you still responded in that way, you know? So it's about drawing the line between what is my responsibility and what's not. Like, don't blame yourself for everything. But I think these people who blame themselves for everything and say it's my fault, they don't actually take any responsibility. They just say it's my fault and don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you've got to take responsibility for what you can change, what you can control. But you've got to understand, like, these traumas, these things that happen to you, it's just a part of the journey. It's a part of the journey. You weren't in control of it. You can't let this obstacle be there for life. And I think a lot of people, because no one teaches us this stuff, no one teaches about life and having courage and overcoming anxiety and fear. Things don't go to plan, and people are just like, right, that's it, I can't do it now. You know, I think people need to work on that. They need to work on the fact that there's always a plan. It just might not be your plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deep.
I think it is. It is very deep, but that's what I've created the Elite 365 program on Limitless Training. It's obviously the 5 areas we focus on. It's, you know, it's not just diet and training. Diet and training is a pillar. It's like that pyramid I've made. Yeah, that's at the bottom of the pyramid. But after that, we've got relationships.
Yeah.
See, I work with a bunch of people. The reason they fall off track with that emotional eating, I'm struggling with my relationships, Sam. I'm struggling with my work stress because they're getting stressed with their work relationships. It's all about relationships. Their relationship with themselves, how they treat themselves, how they view themselves, what things they talk to themselves about, and then relationships with other people. That's causing their physical health to become affected. The next one on the pyramid, money management. People are struggling with their finances. They're struggling with their money. They spend the money on shit. They're getting into debt. They're worried about it, which is causing them to drink and take drugs and eat food in the short term. So it's all linked again to this. And then
that's linked to your values as well, though, because that's
Yeah.
living outside your values. Again, buying shit that you don't need for external gratification.
Yeah.
And because you're looking for something else, because you're living outside your values, you know.
Yeah,
So
that's a big one we can talk about as well. We've had conversations about that, and Luke, my content creator,
Shout out Luke.
Shout out to Luke. He's sitting over there doing a great job. I was talking to him in the car this morning about the generational differences, and I was like, we grew up with social media. Like, we had one normal life. It didn't exist. All of a sudden, 2010, Facebook was like bang, everyone had it, and then Instagram was a couple of years later. Twitter now, before we know it, big tech companies fucking rule. They run the world, right? Big tech companies are running the world right now. We'll just have to see what's happened the past year. They're like big business. They're dictating governments and shit, right? So big tech's almost took over. But people like Luke's generation who are 15, 16, you know, the ones who we call millennials, they did not know anything different. They were 5, 6 year old and they already had social media integrated in their life. And I think there's a big thing with social media. And you mentioned something before about the money and spending money for external gratification. Social media has caused this extra thing that working class kids have now got to worry about. Before we didn't have that. We didn't have nothing to compare our working class lives to. We didn't see what posh people were getting up to, what people with loads of money, with loads of designer clothes. We just did what we did. And now we've got young kids who, they're working class people from working class backgrounds, that comparing themselves to people on social media who they follow, who are millionaires, who've got enough money to do this, and celebrities, and they're going, why don't I have this? So basically, it was already hard enough for young kids to kind of discover their identity and live by their values, because no one teaches this stuff. Now we've got this social media, which just makes it 10 times harder.
I think it's a platform where, for like what you've done in a business, it's great. You know, it's how you implement or
it is.
use it. You know, if you're using it for the wrong reasons of, you know, posting stuff to compare yourself or compete with other people, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, or you want external gratification of people, you know, liking your photos and stuff like that, then it's for the wrong reasons. But like you say, you could use it for a business or something like that, and then that's when I think social media is a good thing. You know?
Like, I've wanted to get rid of social media for years, but I cannot.
Yeah, same for me with business. Like,
of the tool.
I have it. Yeah, it's such a good thing for business. But if I didn't have that, I would massively limit it.
Yeah. But the other thing which you've learned as well is it can be used as a great tool for the other things. For learning is a massive thing. For accountability is a massive thing.
Just also for accomplishment as well.
Accomplishment, when I lose,
nothing wrong with posting a photo when you're proud of yourself.
No, when I lose a bunch of weight, like when I lose even more weight and get down to the goal of sport about, one of my biggest like motivations for that is I can't wait to put that picture online. And like I really can't. It's not, but I'm going to get some likes off people, but that's my accountability, because I've banged on about this online. Like every day I post that I'm doing
That's
this.
the cherry on top of the cake, but you're building the cake already. You own the cake. I think so many people are using social media for the cherry on top of the cake, and they haven't got the fucking
Go
cake.
out and buy a fake handbag to post on for that they can't afford, or a car that they can't afford if they're still living with a mum and they've got.
I made a post the other day. I don't know if you've seen it. Materialism in society. Got a lot of. I see the insights on my Instagram. Got a lot of insights. A lot of people clicking on it, and I also noticed got a lot of unfollows as well. Yeah. So I said a few things in there. I said there's people who are spending all their money on shit they don't need to impress people that don't like.
That's 100%.
Like you said before, Gary V. One of Gary V's things. He says that all the time, and it's completely true. You know, social media has now become this platform for insecure people, and I'm putting myself in this category because that's what I used to do when I was feeling insecure. And this is also linked to when I was at my most anxious. So this is what the kind of thing I was doing. I was feeling insecure. I was feeling low. I'd stick a photo on social media, me with my six pack, because I was well in shape a few years ago. I still am in good shape, but not what I used to be when I was competing. Like, I looked better than 95% of the people, but I was still unhappy at the time. So I'd post some photos on Instagram just to get some attention.
Yeah.
To see if someone slipped in the DMs, to see if someone gave us a like. Oh, you're looking good, Sam. Well done.
But I think
Give us a bit of a boost.
That's doing it for the, like you say, for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
If you're doing it for yourself and posting a picture because you feel proud of what you've done, but if you're doing it to get them likes and get them people to make yourself feel better, then like you say, something's missing in your life, and you need that void filled by gratification or a comment or you're looking good, you know?
Yeah. So, but anytime you have to fill that void with something external, what goes up must come down. Something external is normally fast. Something internal, you've got to work for it. You've got to put in effort. Like, your internal reward, sense of accomplishment comes after the thing. Whereas instant gratification from external factors, it comes straight away. A like gives you the dopamine hit straight away. Whereas if you want to get that sense of accomplishment, you might have to do a week of no booze to basically get to the weekend and pass it and go, yeah, I've done it now. Whereas the old you, when it's external, it's straight away, bang, I need it now, I need it now. So we need to drop that need for external gratification and instant gratification. And social media has just massively, you know, created this need for it. Like, external gratification is the number one thing. And I think everyone's problems with mindset, with their body, like, again, people who are struggling with weight loss, instant gratification, they want an instant quick fix from food. That's why they're overweight.
Yeah.
We can all tie it back to this one thing. People living outside their values. So because they're living outside their values, that intuition or the universe is gifting them emotions that are not good. And it's trying to say, listen, you're not living by your values. But they don't know this, so what do? Fill it with instant gratification. And social media has become the platform to do that.
Oh, I think it's made it so incredibly easy to do that. You know what I mean? Everyone's got a phone, and anyone can, you know, put themselves in debt to buy a car or whatever bag, to post it, to get that gratification.
That's what I said on my Facebook, on my Instagram the other day. I said, anyone can get a fucking finance car.
Anyone
my car's
can.
£250 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm comfortable. I'm doing all right. I wish I could say, oh, I'm loaded, I'm rich. I'm not. I'm comfortable, though, and I can afford a nice car. But let's fucking be serious. It's 250 quid a month. Anyone can do that. I'm not posting it saying I'm a baller and I've got a flash car. It's like, no, you got it on fucking finance. Who are you kidding, mate?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's it.
If you want a nice car, do it because you like it. But that doesn't make you any better than someone who's got what you got.
There's
outside,
a difference between
500. It doesn't make you any better. It's a car. It's A to B.
Yeah.
My first car was a Fiesta that got us from A to B. You know, when I realised, because actually it's better for your own financial freedom to lease a car.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to buy one? It's a depreciating asset. It don't make money on a car. It's a stupid investment. Just lease one. I leased a nice car because I can afford it. But I'm not sitting here pretending I'm a baller and this and that and, oh, my life's going perfect. It's like, well, my life's going all right, but I'm not using social media to get attention. I think so many people, that's their goal. It's like, get a nice car. It doesn't matter if I can't afford it. I'll pretend I'm doing well. When in reality, they're in debt. It's on finance anyway. It's like, you don't even own it. You're renting a fucking car.
There's a difference between like buying something or being able to afford something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because anyone can go, like you say, £200 a month for a car. What's that? You know, I think you might get that on welfare or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So to do that, a lot of people can do it, but like you say, it's
anyone with a half decent job can afford a finance car. You can afford a Range Rover if you want to do. Range Rover, what, 80 grand car? You can get Range Rover deals now for like $450 a month. I've seen them because I was looking at them.
But can you live the lifestyle you want around that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where I think people get that and then bend their lifestyle or limit their other lifestyle values, going food or having a gym membership around that because they want that materialistic thing to get that thing, the gratification from other people, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it doesn't make sense, you know, for someone, you know, with let's say a £2,000 a month salary to drop 800 quid on a finance car. Like, it doesn't generally make sense. But people still do it because of what it gives them. It's what they're valuing, you know. So, you know, I think, again, financial freedom, like, that's got to be a goal. And that doesn't mean have loads of money, because, listen, I'm not willing to do the things it would take to, you know, these people who work on Wall Street and have got these high-flying jobs, they must be fucking miserable. They've all got coke addictions. They've all got therapists. They're all out of shape and unhealthy. They don't sleep much. They're workaholics. Fuck that. I'm not living that life. But I want to have enough money to live by my values and reinvest back in my business and buy some nice things. That's all I want. And I think a lot of people they'll never have that because of the instant gratification. They're always living
Yeah.
paycheck to paycheck just to look good.
I think people get the wrong idea of my view of financial freedom. I kind of remove the financial and look at the freedom.
Yeah.
Because that's what money gives you. It can
Yeah.
give you more time. But then also if you're doing something that you hate for money, you're not going to have energy or time to do the things that you like,
Yeah.
to value, or like spend time with your family, spend time with your partner, build your relationship.
Like I said before, I'd rather have a 20 grand a year job and have as much time and freedom that I want to do in something that I loved than 100 grand a year job fucking hating my life.
Exactly, yeah.
There's no way I could swap that, because I've been a workaholic and done things that I didn't want to do. I thought it would make us happy, and you get paid a bit of money and you see your savings account and you can buy nice things. It's like, oh great, it lasts 5 fucking minutes. And then you're like, hang on a second, I'm still knackered, I'm drained. I haven't even got time to spend some time with my girlfriend. I haven't been out for a restaurant meal in 6 months. I haven't had a night out with my mates in a year. What's the point of this?
Exactly, yeah.
You know, then I changed my viewpoint on it. You know, money, people say money's evil. It's like, it's not. But what you do to get money can be evil. Like, what you do to get money can totally destroy your life. Yeah, money's just an energy source. We've talked about this before. It's an energy source. It flows to the highest value.
It's just a source that can help you along with life. Because if you haven't got any money, you're gonna because you still need to pay for bills and food, but you don't need an abundance of money, and especially if you're killing yourself to get that, because then you're the smaller things in life, the finer things in life, you're not going to be able to enjoy if you're constantly stressed and constantly overworked, having a burnout because of that, because your only value is to get money, you know.
Yeah, but even if these people, right, if the value money so high, so they'll do everything to make it, they might have decent jobs, but because they're so drained and tired, the little money that they do have, they just spend on shit.
Yeah.
They spend on drink, drugs, gambling, holidays, finance, cars. It's like that's actually not helping you get to the next level. Like, there's people that drive around in Range Rovers who haven't got any money, they've got no savings.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like I say, unfortunately, it would take a pandemic again where all money was stopped for people to start valuing money and start saying, I need to sort this out.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, I think one of the biggest stresses that people have is financial stress.
100%.
If you're living paycheck to paycheck, one thing, one injury, one job loss, one unemployment, one business going bust, one pandemic, you're one pandemic away from not being able to pay your rent or your mortgage. No wonder people are living in these anxious bubbles, because they've set their life up in a way that gives them no certainty.
Mm-hmm.
Before you talk a bit more there, is that going to be an issue for that?
No.
Is that all right?
It's fine.
We're good?
Yep.
Yeah. Tell you what, we'll change the flow of the conversation, because that'll not work, and we'll just be like, bang. Right, let's relate it back to talk about social media, we'll talk about values. Let's relate it back to the health and fitness side of it a little bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Jack, what's your future goals for your health and fitness? Really, obviously you've dropped 50 pounds so far. You've kind of overcome this need to drink every day, and you're much more seen as a lifestyle now. But what's your general health and fitness goals? What's your long-term vision?
In terms of goals and motivation, I've always had this thing of a wedding that I'm going to at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Fitting into a nice suit.
Yeah,
but in terms of, because I'm in the middle of like a 90-day challenge of showing up to the gym every single day and doing that, like every day I can feel myself getting fitter. I know when I first spoke to you, like a big goal for me is to be fit enough to play football again, be light enough to play football. But yeah, it's just literally being fitter, being healthier, having more energy, just showing up to the gym every day.
Yeah, consistency. Isn't it?
Consistency,
Yeah.
and
That's the main thing you've changed, because like deep down before you knew you could do all that, you just weren't doing it because you didn't have the energy, didn't have the accountability.
Yeah.
That's one big thing that I give people on my coaching program. Like a lady reached out to me the other day, like she still hasn't signed up, which is crazy because this situation goes on all the time. A lady will reach out, a man will reach out, whatever. They'll tell us exactly what they're struggling with. And this lady was basically saying borderline suicidal, like seriously, borderline suicidal. I hate my body. It's destroying my relationship with my husband. I want to be here longer for my kids. I'm like 5 or 6 stone overweight. These are her words, not mine. You know, I need some help. I need this. I need that. So I tell them the details of my coaching program, and then they start convincing themselves, oh, I don't think I'll stick to it. I don't think I can do it. I'm like, no, the accountability is what will get you to do it. If you think that you can just go it alone, you would have done it by now. You know, so trying to get people to understand accountability. You've got to put yourself around a group of people or have accountability with someone where you can go, right, here's my money, my exchange of value. And in exchange, you give me the value that I need to reach my goals, and it's fair exchange. But people have got this such a shit mindset around money where they're in scarcity mode. They're scared to spend money because they're normally thinking about next week's paycheck, next month's paycheck, next month's bills. They've set this life up for them where it's impossible to win. All it is just hold on to things and don't put yourself on the line, and that translates in people wanting to commit to lose weight. So for you, it was just like, right, accountability. I need to do this.
Yeah.
I need to do this. There's my money. There's my exchange of value, you coaches.
Yeah.
And it works so well because once you've done it, you've committed, and you can't lose after that. As long as you stay accountable, you can't lose.
That's probably the biggest thing as well. Like, from my point of view, the biggest thing that anyone looking to lose weight needs that accountability.
Yeah, 100%.
They need the WhatsApp group that we're in with the Elite 365. I know I don't use it as much now, but that's because I live with Ben now, so I've got that accountability. I've got a business to concentrate on and stuff. I can't really be on my phone all day, but just having the accountability with you on Instagram, tagging you in something every day. I've showed up at the gym.
I think it's even yourself.
Ben being
as
on
well.
me back every morning. Have you done this yet? Have you hit your steps? When I get in from work, have you hit your steps? No. Well, I'm out on a walk. And
But a journal, like you say, the journal that we'll get off you, the Elite 365 one, is a brilliant way of keeping yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Because you're writing something down, and if you're going to write something down, you're getting it on paper. It's not just a thought. It's in front of you. It's real, and it's on paper. And if you say you're going to do that thing tomorrow, you know, tomorrow I'm going to get 10,000 steps, to work out and eat this or get this task done. You need to stay accountable just to yourself.
if you get to the end of the day and look back on that and you haven't done that, you feel like you've cheated yourself. I know that some days you are writing my journal, and some days stuff that I've written down in the morning doesn't end up happening.
Yeah, it's normal.
At the end of that day, but it's I know the reason why that hasn't ended up happening.
You learn from it.
It was something that was it's either something that I've done wrong, I can learn from that, or something that was completely out of my control, like whatever. But
Life.
Yeah.
just stuff getting in the way. I couldn't get that task done because it took us longer to get this task done. But that task moves over till tomorrow. I don't feel as bad about that, but I got this, and this done.
Yeah, all journaling. It's just organising your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are waking up and they're not saying it, but subconsciously their brain's going, I hope I feel all right today. I hope I don't get too stressed today. Like I've actually had clients where they've messages and talked to us about whatever. I'll say, oh, what's your plan for today? And they'll say something along those lines. Oh, well, I just hope I have a good day at work today. I'm like, hang on a second. I'm going to call you out here. What do you need to do to have a good day at work? What has to happen for you to feel proud of yourself? What 3 things must you have accomplished so if when you hit your head on the pillow tonight, you are proud of yourself?
Yeah.
That's a much better question rather than just going, oh, I hope everything's all right. People are waking up and essentially winging their life. They're expecting, they've got ideas and expectations inside their mind of how they want their life to be. They're just expecting it to happen. And when it doesn't, that's what stress is called. Stress is created. Stress is just when the universe presents yourself with a challenge or an obstacle, which will always happen. When's life ever went perfect? It'll always happen to some degree. And stress is created when people just try and put their head through the challenge. They just try and bombard through it anyway, realize they can't, they're hitting the brick wall and they go, oh, fucking hell. When in reality, it's like, right, there's a challenge. What question are you going to ask yourself, aka your journal?
Yeah.
How would I overcome this? I think one of the questions in the journal is, who, what, or what thought could stress me out the most today? Then the next question is, what would limitless you do, the best version of you, to overcome that?
Yeah.
You've got a pre-plan to say, right, this normally stops me from reaching my goal. When it happens, it emotionally affects me. It stresses me out. It hurts. Right, what do I need to do prior to limit the likelihood of that happening? That's having a strategic mindset.
Yeah.
That's what I'm teaching people on my life expansion program at E365. How to have a strategic mindset and set your life up to win rather than just not lose. People are setting their life up just to not lose.
Yeah, like the safe.
I remember
There's a difference.
one of the first trainings I'd done with you, and it was literally just something clicked, and it's in the journal. It's the most powerful question I think that's in the journal is literally, how do you want to feel today? And then the next question underneath that is, what are you going to do to make sure you feel that way?
When do we ask ourselves that as adults? How do I want to feel?
And then it's going back to the thing of you're quite happy to set up meetings with people throughout the day, and an hour meeting with so and so, an hour meeting with so and so. It's like, if every morning you just have a 1-minute meeting with yourself and ask yourself, how are you doing?
Yeah, it's the
just
most important 10 minutes of the day. When you wake up, what do most people do? I think I said it on a trainer, like 86% of people in the Western world, they wake up, they check their notifications. You know what it is? I'd done it this morning when I was sitting on the toilet. Yeah, but
I'm guilty. I think that's definitely.
and I
a big
realised
thing,
I shouldn't have done it. I should have done my planner first.
Yeah.
Because basically, when you're going on your phone, all you're doing is basically telling yourself you're more interested in what other people are doing and what other people's days look like than what yours does.
You're
And
focusing
when
on
I,
other people.
when I
yeah.
tell people that I journal now, like one of the reactions I usually get is like, "Pff, you journal.
What the fuck's that? Dear diary.
Dear
kind of shit.
diary. But people think it's like,
I
even
know.
some of my best mates are
I
like,
know.
oh, it's like Dear diary. I'm like, no, it's like, it's a prompted journal.
Yeah.
I'm asking myself a set of 15 questions on a morning. And by the end of the day, like, I know what I've done that day, what I
Yeah.
wanted to do that day, how I wanted to feel that day, why I didn't feel that way that day, what I can do differently tomorrow to make sure I feel better. Like, having that on a morning, it completely changes the game for me.
Yeah,
Like,
of course. I mean, it's what I call it, the thing on top of the box, morning intention. What's your morning intention? Like, what's your intention for you to be on track with your goal? And obviously, the life expansion program. We've got this 12-month vision. Where do we want to be across these 5 areas in 12 months? Then we measure backwards and see what has to happen in the next 90 days for me to be on track with my 12-month vision. And then we'll break that down into weekly goals over the 90 days. Break that weekly goal down into a daily goal, and that's where the planner comes in. So it all ties into this life expansion. You know, that's what I'm teaching. In that first box, morning intention, like what has to happen today for me to be on track with my goals? And then the flip side of that, and all that is just organising your thoughts. The flip side of that is the nighttime. When you're checking over, you can't lie to yourself. What you've written down in that box on a morning, you know with 100% certainty on a nighttime, did I do it or not? And hey, it's all right if you didn't. You're learning. Sometimes things don't go to plan, but you can't lie to yourself. And all of the data will be there as to why it didn't happen. And you can use that data to improve next time. But if you're not even willing to spend 5 minutes on the morning answering some basic questions, or even just asking yourself, like, you don't have to journal, you don't have to join my program to do this. Yeah. I mean, you can if you want.
Join.
Subtle plug. Yeah.
Drop
Messages
that in
now.
there. Mic drop. Boom.
But anyways, like, you don't have to. You can just ask yourself, like, how do I want to feel today? And what must I do to feel like that? Like, how do I want to feel? And what 3 things has to happen for me to feel like that?
I think
that's a great question.
Is a powerful one, because I think, you know, I think everyone here could be a culprit of it. You wake up in the morning and sometimes you think, I feel like shit today. Before
First-
even ask,
first thought. Negative connotation about
I
your
feel
life.
like shit today. Instead of thinking, how do I actually want to make me feel? Because you can change how you feel. You know, you're in control of what you're doing, and then you can do things during that day to make you feel like that.
Yeah.
You want to feel good. What makes you feel good? Going for a walk, going to the gym, or reading, whatever it is. Do that to make yourself feel like that. You know, structure your day to hit that feeling.
Yeah.
Instead of just telling yourself, I feel like crap today or shit.
Yeah. That's just I think I've done a training before when I said you've got the critic and you've got the champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got the angel and the devil. Well, everyone's got that. It's human nature. Like, this is getting proper deep, right? But I didn't want to turn it into a religion thing. But I think all religion essentially stems from humans just conversing over millennia, thousands of years. We've been around for hundreds of thousands of years. I think they just created these stories of these people, like, you know, angel, the devil, the good and bad, heaven and hell. I think religion's human nature. We've got heaven and we've got hell. We can make a heaven out of a hell and we'll make a hell out of a heaven. We can be an angel one day and we'll be a devil the next. Everyone's got that power. I think it's just this higher power, this universal energy that everyone's got. Anyone's capable of being a devil. Anyone's capable of being an angel. Anyone's being capable of being, you know, a god, a sense, in their own world. You know, and I think it comes from which one are you listening to? Which one are you allowing to come out more? Like, the devil's inside of you. Everyone's got that darkness, a dark street where you'll be selfish and you'll do things that you normally wouldn't do, but you just do it because you're pissed off. You're thinking of yourself, and you'll have days when you wake up and the way I say it, oh, my head's up my arse. My head's up my arse today. Like, you describe how you feel. I feel like shit. You have those days where the devil will be coming out, the darkness will be coming out, but it doesn't mean that the angel's not there, the light's not there. It's there. It just depends which one you're listening to and which one you're allowing to come out. If you're waking up going, oh, I feel like shit. The fucking world's a piece of shit. I hate this person. I hate that person. I'm on my social media. Oh my God, I hate all they're doing. Before you've even opened the door to go to work, to go and see your family, to go and speak to your kids, to go and see your partner, you've lost. The devil's came out. You've listened to it to be true, and that now your reality is what this devil's telling you.
I was going to say, then you're believing your thoughts. If you tell yourself you can't do something, it's like, I feel like shit today, you're going to believe it.
Yeah.
You think, oh, I can't do that. You're going to believe you can't do it. Instead of saying, oh, what can I do to actually do that?
Yeah. Well, you can still say I feel like shit today, but then the next question is, well, how do I want to feel?
How do I want to feel?
I feel shit right now. Let's extend something onto that. Instead of just believing that to be true and rolling with it, which is what most people do, how do I want to feel? Well,
what makes me
don't
feel
want to feel
good?
shit.
or asking yourself why you feel like shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Have a think about it. Why do I feel like shit?
Not an accident.
Because I've done that. I didn't go out on my walk. Like, I checked social media before doing my journal. I feel like shit now. Like,
I done it the other day.
that's why you feel like shit.
Yeah.
Like, go and do something that makes you feel better.
Did you hear my message in the elite group on Saturday? I done a give voice note where after I realised I was like, I come across a bit of a dick there. Do you know why? A few clients pissed us off on a morning. They didn't do what they said they would. So I sent a voice note and was like, right, you need to do this, you need to do that. Come across as a bit preachy, not normally me. However, I think I need to give some.
That's accountability.
I need to give
it?
some of you guys
Yeah.
a bollocking because it's my job to be in a coach. And if people do things wrong, I'm not going to be your friend. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear.
Sometimes you need a bit of hard love, yeah.
I realised that I got triggered a little bit and I wouldn't have normally responded that way. And I asked myself after, I was like, what have I done differently? I sat on my phone for half an hour before I started my day.
Mm-hmm.
And I realised I got myself in a slightly negative frame of mind. So now a situation that, yes, I was right to say, listen, you're wrong, you need to do this, you haven't been doing this, because a few people weren't checking in, weren't doing the work, and I had to give them a bollocking. I had to keep them accountable to it. As a coach, I need to do that, I need to call them out. It's my job, it's what they paid us for. But I came across, and I think in a little bit of in a negative way, that normally is not me. And I realised because I didn't start my day right. That's why my energy was down, because I was on Facebook watching political stuff.
I think the morning is
The morning
that's
routine.
definitely
Yeah.
the biggest thing I've realised is the most important. I think one, it's the most efficient you are in the morning. You're more switched on. Later on in the day, you're more fatigued. So if you want to learn something or get stuff out of the way that's important to you, it's good to do it in the morning. And just if you're going to lie in bed till 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, sorry, I'll get up at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Sit on your phone for an hour and then think, I need to do that. It's already 12 o'clock.
Lost.
You've lost 6 hours of that day. So just getting up, getting some exercise, some fresh air, some vitamin D. You don't really get that much in England, the sun, but bit wet then, bit rain.
Yeah.
And just, getting yourself prepared for what's in front of you. By 9 o'clock, you can start your day already killing or smashing 3 goals, 3 priorities that then you can put your whole focus on what you need to do that day. I think that's a massive thing.
I always say this: dominate the morning, you dominate the day.
Right, 100%.
Like, set yourself. I mentioned it before. Set yourself up to win instead of just setting yourself up not to lose. So many people are walking out that door just hoping for the best. They're like they're hoping they don't lose, but they're not planning to win. I'm going out that door in the morning saying, this is how I want to feel, and this is how I'm going to fucking win. Like, if you're not going out with that strategic mindset, you're not going to reach your goals. Life will pass you by. You will get overwhelmed. You will drink more. You will take more drugs. You will seek more validation on social media because you're not in control of this game. You're hoping not to lose, but really you're never going to win doing that. By hoping to lose, you'll lose by default because you're not in control.
Yep.
So morning routines are huge, and that's one big thing I tell you guys in the coaching program. And it doesn't have to be anything extreme. I think some people think, I've got to have this fucking,
5 a.m., 4 a.m.
5 a.m. club, get up, do me journaling, do a cold shower, go and do a marathon, then I'll go to the gym, then I'll already have 20,000 steps done, then I'll start work at 8:30. It's like, come on, man.
No, like when I first started, I couldn't go out for a massive walk because of how overweight I was. But when I first started, my morning routine was just getting up early, making me bed, going on a small walk. Them were 3 things that I ticked off that morning
Straight
that
away.
I'd done.
One of the best emotions you can feel. It's like a post-event emotion, sense of accomplishment. So
aye.
many people don't have a sense of accomplishment in their life, and they wonder why they feel anxious. Like, this is what I've learned about emotions lately, and I'm going through this new stage of consciousness. I'm learning a lot right now, applying it to my own life, teaching you guys about it, seeing great results. And I think the 3 most powerful emotions that you could tap into at any time, I talked about this in my training last night, it doesn't require a lot of energy. Like, to feel excited, there's normally got to be a lot of energy to be excited for. But just to feel a sense of accomplishment, that's one thing, one task that you've been putting off, one task you've been procrastinating on, one thing that you know is going to make you feel better. Get it done and tick it off. See how you feel after. Sense of accomplishment. Yeah. Other emotions, sense of gratitude. Like, things can be going wrong, but if you're feeling grateful, that'll neutralize any depression, any anxiety, any negative emotion in an instant. It'll not take it away, it'll just neutralize it. Yeah, it'll neutralize it and you'll be aware of it, but you feel grateful for what you've got. And that light will outshine the darkness any day of the week. So having a purpose, knowing what you need to do, like, this is how I want to feel today and this is how I'm going to do it, that's a purpose. If you don't have that, you're going to struggle for your emotions. If you don't get the post-event emotion of a sense of accomplishment, you're not going to feel like you are on track, which means you're going to doubt yourself, which means you'll give in to uncertainty and you'll probably create a lot of anxiety, and you'll not have that purpose because you'll give it up. And then gratitude, like, you've got to be grateful for what you are doing. You've got to be grateful for the opportunities you've got in your life, for everything that's been, for things that are, for things that are going to be. You've got to accept them and say, this, I might be not going to plan, but that's my plan. But the universe has got a bigger plan. Like, I'm on plan. I am on plan. And as long as I take care of my present, constantly look for a sense of purpose, constantly look for things to be accomplished in, be grateful for it, I'll be all right. I'll be able to neutralize any negative emotion, you know. So gratitude, sense of accomplishment, and a sense of purpose. I think people who struggle, most times people struggle with anxiety and depression. And I know there's a whole brain chemistry thing. There's past traumas, and some people are struggling with PTSD. And I get it. There's not a lot that you can do about that. You need some extra help, medication, therapy, you know, talk and stuff. But a lot of people, their depression and anxiety will be eliminated overnight if they had a sense of purpose, and if they did things that made them feel accomplished, and if they were able to create some gratitude, yeah, because like I say, they're so powerful. Them emotions, they can neutralize any threat, any negativity in an instant. But if you're not asking yourself questions like that, if you're just waking up, oh, I feel shit, and that's it, and then doing things to just to make yourself feel shitter, like you're not going to get a sense of accomplishment.
I think that's like even what you said. Your morning routine was, you know, waking up early, making your bed. Like that is one thing you can tick off and say, I've done that today.
Such a small
that
thing.
is going to make you feel so much better than, I guess, not doing that. You're going to have won that 10 minutes of your day. You know what I mean? You're in a winning mentality within 5-10 minutes of waking up.
Yeah, my morning routine's simply doing my journaling. I normally used to do a cold shower, but I've kind of been bottling that, to be honest, because I feel like I've been getting a better response out of it. Well, the shower's broke in my house at the minute, so I'm getting a quick bath. But when I'm in the bath or in the shower, I've got meditation music on, and I'm just planning my day in my head. 5 minutes. 5 minutes, I'm like, just 5 minutes. I get a quick wash because I was putting it off on a night time, so I was realising I was skipping showers and stuff, so it's better on a morning for me to get washed. And then I would immediately go outside, do a live video. So I'm providing value. Something. My highest value is coaching people about mindset, about nutrition, about, you know, creating a life for themselves that works, setting themselves up to win. All the stuff I've talked about the past hour. That's my highest value, teaching people about that. So if I can set my day up where I've journaled, I've planned my day, I haven't checked my phone yet, you know, I've done something that I actually quite like, listen to some either nice music or a podcast or some meditation music in the shower or in the bath where I'm just planning my thoughts. That's when I feel most relaxed and I feel like my creativity comes out. So I feel refreshed. And then I'm going out the door, doing a walk, having a nice coffee, and doing my video. Like by the time I start work at 9-10 o'clock, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Now I can check my phone. Now I can go on social media.
Now you can give other people's, not other people your attention, but, you know, you can put your attention to other things that are externally from what you need to do in that morning, you know?
Yeah, that's how it's been so easy for me to scale my business and kind of, transform my life, really, because the thing that I value the most actually helps other people.
Yeah.
It's not just something that's internal to me. It's important to have things that are internal to you, you know, but if you can value something, right, that allows other people, that gives other people the help they need, you'll always do all right in business. You'll always do all right in life because money flows to the highest value, you know.
Yeah.
If you are valuable and you are internally motivated to do that, you'll never struggle financially in your life. You'll never have any issues because you'll always be able to provide something that helps people, you know, and then in return, knowing that I've helped someone, that makes me feel amazing. It gives that sense of purpose.
And accomplishment, I guess.
And accomplishment.
Yeah.
So I figured it out.
Yeah.
For me to transform my mental health, to go from someone who's depressed, suicidal, struggling with panic attacks, you know, just generally behind in life, the typical angry male who's frustrated at the world. Like I said, I used to blame other personal trainers that they were successful and I wasn't. And I'd write statuses about them. I'd talk about them at the gyms and say they're fucking shit. They don't know what they're talking about. I'm so much better than them. And no wonder I was depressed.
Yeah.
When I changed my whole entire life and my thought process and went, right, how can I feel grateful? Well, I need to fucking do something first. I need to stop complaining because I can't be grateful and complain at the same time. How can I create a sense of purpose that's linked to my values? And how can I create a sense of accomplishment? And bang, straight away, my life changed. People say all the time, Sam, you've done so well for yourself the last 3 years. Like, you know, your business, you know, you're a totally different person. You've changed. I'm like, thank you for noticing. I did change. I had to because I was going nowhere. You know, so this is why I'm so passionate about what I do. You can create some gratitude, right? It'll neutralize any negative emotion you've got. If you can create a post-event emotion of accomplishment, tick, I've done it, yes, I'm on track. And then create a purpose that actually helps someone, that allow you to get paid well, that allow you to reinvest that back into building a thing you value. It's like, I've got it nailed. I've got a strategy that's just, it's working. I'm setting my life up to win. And I want to teach people how to do that. Most people are just trying not to lose.
I love that,
big difference.
How you say, if someone says, oh, Sam, you've changed a lot, and you said thank you with confidence there, and that is, there's nothing wrong with being proud and being like proud of that you've done something. I think everyone should do that. If you've changed or even went through a weight loss goal and someone says you've done well, own it and be proud of it, you know.
Yeah.
You
I
shouldn't-
used to have
yeah.
a bigger ego when I was struggling mentally, physically,
Yeah.
emotionally, financially. My ego was huge then because I was insecure. Yeah, whereas now I've still got an ego. Like everyone does. People are lying if they say they haven't got an ego.
No.
Why would you not want people to like you? Why would you not want to have successful things? Like you're talking shit if you say you don't care how you look and you don't care how what people think of you. Then people who say, "Oh, I don't care what people think of us," they're the ones that care the most.
Yeah.
I care what people think of me. I just don't care more than what I think about myself now. I still care what you guys
You're not
think
going
of
to
us.
change your values
Nah.
because of what they think of you.
So that's why I've still got an ego. Everyone does. I'm trying to feed that ego and be successful so I reach my values, but I'm not allowing it to rule the whole show anymore. And it's not about being insecure. It's about understanding and recognizing, yeah, I've got an ego, but I can feed it the right things or I can feed it the wrong things.
No.
I'm going to feed it the right things. And like I say, that's why I've got confidence to do what I do now. And that's why,
It's like being proud, but
yeah.
being, I guess, humble in a sense.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd sit and talk about my flaws all day. There's still things I want to change about my life, and you know, I've still got insecurities, and everyone does. But you just got to be honest with them, you know.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people who are struggling with their emotional well-being, just like I was, especially males, like I say, we can't put myself in the mind of a female because we're not females. I've worked with a bunch of females, but actually I work with more females than I do males now. But as a male, and I know so many other lads feel like this, they're just so frustrated because they don't have a sense of purpose. They're not doing anything in their life that's an accomplishment. They're doing things that they fucking hate just to pay the bills, to pay the mortgage, to pay the car, to buy the designer clothes, to be able to go out on the sesh with the lads. And then that's giving them bodies they hate, mental health that they don't like. It's just this big, you know, it's a recipe. Your life's a recipe. Like what ingredients are in your recipe, that's giving you the outcome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So guys, I think we've kind of covered a lot there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of good insights, a lot of good information, you know?
Yeah, I think we'll wrap that up because we've covered a lot there. So, yeah. Before we go, guys, what's been, or what would be, the best advice you could give to your younger self? So I guarantee there's some younger men who listen to this and are like, "Fuck, I don't feel quite right. I know there's some kind of truth out there, and they just need something to latch onto." Because when I was struggling, that's all I wanted to hear. I didn't want someone to mollycoddle us and pat us on the back. I wanted someone to say, "Sam, this is why you feel like this, and this is what you can do to feel better." So what advice would you give your younger self to say, "Listen, this is just what you need to do. Focus on that, please"?
For me, it would be put yourself out there. You don't know if you like something or what even a value is unless you've tried it. So
Yeah.
if you're feeling a bit lost and you don't know, and you're just kind of ghosting through life, floating
Try
through,
something.
try something. Go and play. I don't know. I started golf, started boxing. Just go and do something, and you might find a passion there that you love, and then you can live by that values. And also, just instead of saying something, it's easy to sit on this comfortable couch and say, "I'm going to do that." You've got to get up and take action. You know,
Yeah, you can't lie to yourself.
You can't
that's
lie to
what I
yourself.
say, yeah.
I could sit here and say I'm going to run a marathon because I'm in the nice warm, sitting on a comfy chair. It'll be different when I go to do it. You know, that's when the hard work starts. So I think it's maybe writing down what you want to do, but then taking action. So I think
Yeah.
the
So
two biggest things.
just don't be scared to try and feel things.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about you, Jack? What would you say?
I'd say get a coach
Yeah.
early on.
Yeah.
If I was looking back at myself,
Me too. Yeah. I wish I had a coach earlier.
get a coach earlier. Like learn all these things. 2, figure out your values or get someone who's going to teach you about values. And 3, it's probably the same thing as Ben, is give yourself some accountability. Like if you say you're going to do something, go and do it. There's like, I'm 30 now and I've said so many things since I've been 20 of, I wish I could go and do that. There's no reason why.
Yeah, when we tell ourselves these things, it's only our own limiting
Aye.
beliefs. Like if I said right now, like this wouldn't happen because I'm not clever enough and I don't value it. But if I said I want to rival Elon Musk at SpaceX and I want to build a rocket right now and I want to be better than him, like some people would say, well, it's impossible. I'm like, well, it's nearly impossible. But if I really had to,
yeah,
You could.
I generally could. I'd have to go to university, probably like fucking 20 years or something. I'd have to dedicate my life to it. I'd have to build a team to help us. But is that actually possible? Like, can you differentiate between what's possible and what's not? Like, if I want to say I want to fly with my body and touch the sky, I want to breathe underwater, we know that's impossible. But not something like even as extreme as I want to become this great thing, I want to do this, I want to build this, I want to be this person. Who's saying it's not possible?
Yeah.
Only yourself inside your head. Once you drop that and say anything is possible and genuinely believe it, you realise that it was me all along who was the problem.
I think if you believe something's impossible, you need to break it down and think, okay, what is the first step
Yeah,
to
exactly.
getting closer?
Yeah.
And then take action there. Once you've moved that one step, then you're already one step closer.
It's individual components. Like,
Exactly.
right now, I couldn't build a rocket and rival
No,
Elon
but
Musk
you could go to a university that
to learn rocket
to
science.
learn rocket science,
Yeah,
and
and
that
then
would be
from
the
there,
first step. Yeah.
invest some money into building a team who's going to help us build
So
rockets.
it's breaking it down
Yeah.
and taking it step by step,
Yeah.
not looking for the end goal and getting there because he didn't
Instant
get there.
gratification,
Exactly.
full circle. It comes
You
back
don't want
to
to put the hard work in. But
Yeah,
you need
people
to
want it now. They want the body
grind.
now, the life now, the money now. And if they don't get it now, they go say, I can't do it. Bullshit, you know? So I love that. My advice to my younger self would be, don't believe everything you think.
Yeah.
Because I'm not making this number up, but 99% of your thoughts are a fucking lie.
Yeah.
99% of the first thoughts that pop in your head are lies. It's your imagination filling in the blanks, because we generally cannot ever understand or even comprehend what is going to happen in the future. How many thoughts do we have that are complete made-up scenarios? Made-up scenarios that were believed to be true.
Yeah.
How many times do we say, oh, this person was doing this and doing that? How the fuck do you know? That's just your perception. Oh, I feel like I've upset them. Have you asked them? I work with so many people who are like, oh, I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with that. I'm like, have you had a conversation with your boyfriend about this? Oh, no. I'm like, well, how the fuck do you know? How can you expect your partner to treat you like this if you never told them that this is what you need from him? Oh, yeah, I understand that. It's crazy, and it goes for men as well, you know, like even myself, like, oh, thinking about this, thinking about that, relationship worries and troubles. Really, all along, it was me overthinking things. I just needed a conversation. You know, it was absolutely crazy, you know. So my best advice to my younger self, question your thoughts. Like, don't believe everything you think, right? I think one of the most toxic thing that a lot of people say is, oh, always listen to your gut. Sometimes your gut's talking shit.
Overthinking is a massive thing as well.
Yeah, it is. Of course it
Overthinking
is.
a massive thing.
Of course it is, you know. So I would say question your thoughts. Like, is this really true? Like, I always reference Byron Katie in my trainings a lot, because she's someone who's changed my life. I haven't worked with her or anything like that. I would love to. I don't even know where she does her seminars and things now with COVID going on. But I've read her book, and that allowed me to understand that I am not the center of the universe. I thought I was.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they are. Some people listening right now, I'm going to call you out. Stop thinking you are the center of the universe. You are not. Right?
Big statement.
You're not. You are the center of your own.
Yeah.
But you're not the center of everybody else's universe. They're the center of their own universe. So stop expecting people to treat you like you are the center of their universe. You are not. They are their center. So when I realized that, it was almost like it's a book's called Loving What Is. You've got to basically accept what is and question it and get a better response from it. Like, if you can learn to love something that depresses you, there's no more depression. You know, so you've got to learn to love what is, loving what is. It's about saying, well, this is the way it is. Am I in control of this? And if you are, do something about it. If you are not, how can I inquire my thoughts to get a different response? Like I say, so sometimes when we go, oh my God, this is happening, that's happening, one of her main framework for our questions is like, what's happened? Is it true? Is it really true? That's the third question. Is it really true? And it makes you go, like, I've seen some of our seminars on YouTube be, oh, what's happened? Someone will go, oh, well, this and that. Okay, what does that mean? Well, it means this is this. And she goes, do you know that's true? And they go, no. And then she goes, well, okay, who would you be without the thought? And they're like, well, if I had this thought that this wasn't true, I'll be free from it. I wouldn't be depressed. I'm like, hang on, inquire your thoughts for a second. Like, ask yourself, what is this thought that I'm having that I'm believing to be true that is depressing the shit out of me? Is it really true? Or are you just thinking it's true? Or are you just allowing your imaginations to fill in the blanks? And a lot of the times, once I read this, it totally changed my life. There were so many things that I was thinking, and it may take us back to the past. Even when I was a child, even when I was a kid, I was like, I could have avoided all this trauma by just knowing that you're allowed to question your thoughts.
Yeah.
You're allowed to say, hang on, this is not really true. I'm just thinking it is. Like, it might be true. It genuinely might be true, but it might not be either.
Yeah.
Why don't we roll with the might not be and see how you feel? Who would you be without the thought of it being true? You know, so my advice would be question your thoughts, inquire them. Is it really true? You don't know. You don't know. And you're thinking it's true because you think you're the center of the universe. That's why you're thinking it's true, because you think everything happens to you and everything's about how you feel. It's not. We're just a grain of sand on the beach in the universe. You know what I mean? Like, humble yourself a little bit and just say, well, what's going on? How can I learn to love what is? How can I accept it? How can I challenge it and question it in a way that works for me? Yeah, I mean, so some stellar advice there, guys. But we will wrap this up because we've covered a lot. So we'll definitely do it again. We'll do it in my studio next time.
Yeah.